Okay, I call a meeting of December 19th, County Commissioners meeting to order. Public comment. Anybody have any public comment? Yes, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Chairman, you vowed to clean up the county meetings.
I did what?
You vowed it in the newspaper, was reported that you were going to clean up the county meetings.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, would you also vow to clean up the business of the county and also clean up the lying that you and Commissioner Solomon?
I resent that.
Well, that's a fact. So
No, that is not a fact. That's your opinion.
No, it's a fact.
Wait a
No.
minute, wait a
Well,
minute.
may I
Let me
finish?
No.
Without being rudely interrupted?
Yes.
When you're not rude to me, you can
Mr.
finish.
Brown, I didn't follow you. Would you say that again, what you were talking about, cleaning up
The county business
Yeah.
and cleaning up the lying.
the lying?
The lying.
Well,
Now,
that's...
well, that's, first
Go ahead,
off,
go ahead.
first off, you lied about an email, okay, about the eggs and issues.
No, we did
Now,
not.
oh, yes, you did.
That's your
now
saying
more-
that.
now
I will
more
not let, I am
recently-
sorry. This is my, this
You
may
can-
be
you
my
can- you can have your
last meeting,
time.
and I will not
Now-
allow this
now
man to
more
speak like that.
recently, if it was said once, it was said at least a half a dozen times.
Yeah.
That the $810 to form the 501c3 was paid out of the doobie fund. When 2 weeks ago, it came out that that was not the truth.
No, that was, yes, you're right. It was not,
Let him finish, let him finish.
Excuse me, did
You
you
gonna-
say I was right?
it did not come
I
out of the
thought you said
doobie.
that was right.
It did not come out of the doobie fund. You are absolutely
Commissioner
correct.
Solomon.
So then why would you state that at
Finish.
least a half a dozen times?
Mr. Brown, finish your comments, please.
And if you're going to lie about something as simple as an email and about $810, what else would you lie about out of a $27.5 million budget?
May I answer him now?
Are you through, Mr. Brown?
I think so. Well,
Number one, your use of the word lie is inappropriate.
no, it's not.
Hey, look, You've
Oh,
had
she
your
got to
chance.
interrupt me?
You've had your chance.
She got to interrupt me?
Go ahead.
A lie implies that it was done intentionally. What was said with regard to, A, the email that you claim with the extension, just never, to my knowledge, never occurred. That's number one.
That was with the Economic Council you're
Oh,
talking
the
about.
Economic
Yes,
Council?
Jack Cuddy.
The Economic Council. I don't know anything about that.
I didn't get an email.
I didn't know anything about that.
Well-
Number two, with regard to the doobie fund, you are correct in saying that it did not come out of the doobie fund. That was an error. It was not a lie. There's a difference between lying and making an error. There was other money. The money did come out of some other fund, which we are still trying to find out which one it was. But it came out of a fund. I am led to understand that it came out of a fund, some fund in the nursing home, set aside for use for the nursing home residents. And as soon as that is established as to exactly what fund it came from, it will be told to you and to the rest of the public who may be interested. But it is not a lie when you make an error.
Okay, Mr. Brown? Further comments?
Yes, the Economic Council, that was also not only verified by me, but it was verified by Mr. Steer of the Conway Daily Sun. And as far as the error goes, I would count an error as maybe once, but when you repeatedly, time and time, meeting after meeting, and it's clear, it's on video, no, that was paid out of the doobie fund. So, I mean, how many times do you call it an error? Because, you know, when you do it 6, 8 times, that's not an error. That's just blatantly knowing you're not speaking the truth.
If I knew it had not come out of the Doobie Fund and did come out of some other fund, I would have said that.
Why didn't you?
Because I don't know what other fund it came out of yet.
Well, then why would you say the Doobie Fund?
Because that's what I was told.
Okay, enough on that. You got another subject you want to talk about?
Not at the moment. I'll see what I can think of.
Anybody else got any further public input? Seeing none, could we have the minutes of last week?
We didn't have a meeting last week,
The
remember?
week
The meeting was
before.
cancelled.
December 5th?
December 5th, I was absent, but I had a chance to watch the video.
Okay.
And I saw that my statement was corrected, and it's inaccurate about the jail when I was talking about the person, the investigator needs a medical background. Damon Steer asked a question. I was referring to Lucy Hodder, what the attorney advised the board that we need to have an investigator with a medical background. So it was not something about the jail.
Was it corrected? Did you correct it?
I think Commissioner Solomon
I
corrected.
tried to correct it,
Yeah, but
but I obviously didn't understand what you were trying to do.
yeah, so it was about Lucy Hodder, so it was correct what I was saying. But I'm trying to
Well,
find
it
it
didn't
here
say
now.
that. It didn't say it was about Lucy Hodder. That's why I didn't understand what
Yeah,
you were talking about.
It was about the investigation of the nursing home, not the jail, because Damon Steer had a question.
Again, it was
Okay.
unclear in your note to me. which was
Okay,
very
I'm going
short.
to look for it, so that needs to be corrected. And did I correct that thing from the Doobie Fund? Was it here in? Because I know she corrected it, but she didn't put it in. I don't know if it was in on December 5th. Let's just see the minutes now. And that were the two things what I had.
Okay, you got a lot of corrections.
I have
right?
the minutes that were taken last week were taken by someone who was unfamiliar with anything having to do with minutes, and consequently, it's not her fault that the minutes, as far as I can see, were much of it was unnecessary that was in here. So, as I printed this out, it came out to 6 pages. When I made all my corrections, or took out much of the verbiage, it probably will be down to about 2 or 3 pages. I don't think I want to go through everything here, but suffice it to say that what I took out were just conversations that were unnecessary. And I will give this to our present minute taker, and she can review it.
I have another question about the minutes. If we're talking about inmates and inmate grievance, it's always non-public. Why was it public? Normally, these
I
things
don't
are
believe
not.
there are any names mentioned, were there?
Yeah, but still, normally we don't talk in public meetings about these things, about jail.
Was this,
About jail inmate grievances.
was this when Tom Dewars came?
Yeah.
Well, he brought it up.
Did Dewhurst came or did Steve Murray came?
Steve Murray.
Both of them. Both of them.
Oh, Steve Murray. Oh. I think that's something else.
I don't see it.
I don't even see it in here, so I don't know. Oh, here, this county attorney is checking to see if inmate, is that it? That's the only thing here. County attorney is is checking to see if inmate has said in his statement, is public or if it needs to be non-public. Inmate's name was not mentioned.
Where are you?
Yeah, I listed here, Lisa's right here.
Okay. All right.
Does anyone make a motion?
You want to, no, the minutes, there's too many corrections to be made to approve it.
But is it more grammar? What are the corrections?
Well, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Okay, so what, you're going to table the minutes? What are you going to do?
Yeah, we'll
What are you
table-
doing with the December 5th?
We'll table the minutes,
Have them rewritten and then...
have them rewritten, and then we'll approve them when they're rewritten. And could we check to find out how many minutes that we have not approved, so that we can clean up?
The public minutes, I think
Yeah.
they're all good.
All our minutes
Yeah.
have been approved?
Yep, the public minutes is all good. This is the
Okay.
only one we table.
Okay.
I have one there. I have a non-public sets
She's
there.
reading that one.
So did you make a motion, or what are you going to do? You go,
I'll make a motion that we
To
table the
table the
minutes
minutes.
until they have been retyped. Somebody second it?
I'll second
December 5th.
Motion made and seconded that we table the minutes until they've been retyped. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
it.
and so voted.
Check.
I'm going to sign them.
I was hoping that you would type this.
Yep. You need to sign that.
I make a motion to approve the non-public minutes of November 2nd, 2012.
Second motion. And that they are sealed. Any further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Will? Good morning.
Thank you.
I don't know.
new?
Yes.
Oh.
Good morning. I just have a couple quick things. Obviously, we've been plowing snow. We had the motor on the sander broke yesterday. We're able to get a new one, and we're looking into getting that. Hopefully, that's all covered. It should be all covered under warranty. So for right now, I just needed to get a new one and get it on. Basically, there's a small electric motor that has a little shaft coming down with a little pulley on it, and then there goes to another pulley with a belt that runs the spinner to spin it out. That little shaft coming out of the motor broke. When we took it down to the place to get a new one, they looked at it and it looked like it was weak in the center and everything, so there was no real, we didn't do anything wrong, it just snapped right off at the motor. So we got a new motor. He said that's unusual, they've never seen that, and they think that, obviously should be covered. So we're looking at getting replaced on that.
Okay.
Last week we were working on processing more wood before the processor broke again. We do have it up and going again. Or we think we have it up and going. We haven't tested it, but we've fixed the problem.
What happened to it?
There was, when you go to put the bar on, there's a plate that you screw to keep the bar tight, and what had happened is when you put those bolts on, you got to put them on real tight, and over the years, they actually, that plate, the head of the screw, the bolt actually made its way through the plate. So what we did is took the plate off and we welded an extra thickness basically on there and trimmed it all out so that the bolt would fit in there to give it more strength, basically is what happened. So nothing major, but again, another day down on stuff. We did the fourth quarter water testing last week. Took those tests down to Concord, just the usual stuff that the state requires us to do. And then we got some parts in for the sewer system down in the vault out back. I've talked about the vault a lot with reference to the compressor that we need to replace next year. But down there, basically, there's a Gorman RUP station that sends your water out there, and there's basically 10 different septic fields. And when it turns on, it turns one on. When it turns off, the next one, it rotates all the way down through. We've had, probably way before I got here, one of those fields we had a problem with, and basically it was a little electronic relay part in there, and we were able to, we had a second problem, another one have a problem this fall, so we got 2 of those relays in, put those in, that seems to have fixed the problem. So now that we'll have all 10 fields going instead of 9 like we kind of did for a while, which that's gone on since before I've been here. It's not a major thing,
It's been
but
a problem.
yeah, it's just an ongoing problem that we hopefully have fixed now. So that's pretty much what's been going on at the farm lately. I don't have too much if there's any questions.
Otherwise, all your plow equipment is in good shape?
Yep, everything seemed to work good. The sander worked good up until just that at the end of the day yesterday. It was end of the morning, excuse me. It must have been probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning when that happened. We were able to get the part that afternoon and get it back on and good to go. It's an icy one out there because of the mixed rain deal, but everything scraped up pretty good yesterday, so everything seems to be going pretty good. We're gonna have to replace the blades on the plows, probably in another storm or two, which isn't uncommon. We usually go through at least 1, if not 2 blades per plow because of the amount of asphalt we have out here.
Per year? Per
year, yeah. At least 1 and sometimes 2. So that'll be something coming up, but usually that's not uncommon. It's usually like in January time frame when we replace them. But other than that, everything was running good.
You lower those, right?
Yeah, you can't. They're the new ones nowadays. They already have the bolts and the pattern.
So you can't lower them?
You can't lower them. Not like they used to be. They used to be able to do that, I guess. Nowadays, the way they make them, you can't do that. So we usually get, like I said, close to a season. I have gotten a whole seasons out of them. It's just our turn when we rotate them out seems to be like in January, February time frame. So that way we get the end of like December time frame, and then get towards the spring when you're doing a lot more scraping. It's good to have that extra length on there to get down to the pavement.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Good. We won't be having a meeting next week.
Okay.
So the day after Christmas, unless you want to have one. I'm suggesting that we don't have that.
So we have one in,
But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, and
Have a Merry Christmas.
happy holidays.
you too.
Howie?
The next one is January 2nd. That is also one day after the New Year. Good morning. Huh?
Yeah.
Good
Good
morning.
Good morning. Yep.
Well, good news and good tidings. We have we don't have a full house, but almost a full house, and Jen is working on 2 new admissions to fill the 2 empties that we have. Trying to match at any given time to the degree that we can. We're down to 1 skilled, trying to bring in more skilled, because everybody's concern is that not only the revenue, but if we don't keep the skilled census up, Genesis won't stay around as our contract provider. Otherwise, things are going well. Had a meeting last week with the New Hampshire, with the county affiliates of administrators. And the good news there is, by any measure that we could determine, I think Carroll County is doing exceedingly well in terms of the dollars of subsidy per bed. Now, they didn't have exact figures, but I think we might be at the lowest, near as we could tell. Not everybody was there last week.
Mhm.
But in terms of relative efficiency, I think we're doing very well, which is great news. To hear that some of these homes are looking at over $3 million in direct subsidy is a little frightening, and they consider that to be a matter of routine. Is almost disheartening, but we're doing well by most standards. We're also looking at and doing very well with reducing the amount of agency staff that we're using, and so that's been a nice turnaround. So we're down to just, I think, 2 shifts last weekend, and the goal being to be agency free within the next few months. So that's
Say that again now?
the agency of the private duty staff that
Yes.
are brought in.
Right.
And I take personal affront to agency staff from a quality perspective, because we don't really control who comes in, and you pay literally twice as much for them.
Yeah.
So our goal is to be agency free, and we're well on our path to doing that. Becky has taken the lead in managing that process, and between working with scheduling and also with hires, she's optimistic that certainly by the end of the first quarter next year that we can be agency free. That's our goal.
Totally, yeah.
And there's no reason why we can't. We do that by developing our own pool of per diems that we need to, but much better to have our own people in at any given time than calling people in from they can come from anywhere around the state.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
just not, it's resented by the staff that are working, because you get somebody new in, you're virtually training them, you're already running a little short, and here you have somebody who's getting paid twice as much as you, who you're trying to show how to do something. It creates resentment and ill will all around, and doesn't help with resident care at all.
Yeah. And the residents don't know who they are.
No, and it ends up being, now typically it's not, well, it's typically on 3 to 11 and 11 to 7, and all too often on weekends. So it's not a major, if something happened, if we had an event, it could result in a major change. It's not a bad situation now, but it still means we're paying a lot more and getting a lot less. But we're well on our way to turning that around.
I think there's a morale problem also when you pay somebody overtime to work additional shift, whereby or somebody can call out, and you replace them with somebody else with more hourly wages than the previous one was making. And then why wouldn't more people call out with their friend picking up the additional time?
You're exactly right. And while I don't think it happens with staff as being deliberate like that, people pick up extra time. And then by the end of the week, they've already worked more hours than they want to, so they feel a certain bit about being entitled to call out, knowing that their shift's going to be picked up by somebody, their friend perhaps, who will get paid more, so they don't feel guilty. It's a
Yeah.
cycle we have to break. It's not widespread,
I'm
but
not
it
saying that
happens.
that's happening, but
Oh, no,
it's-
it does, in most places, including here.
we
it's always a
appreciate
part of
those
things.
people that pick up the extra time.
But it should be an
Don't
exception.
get me wrong. Yeah. Okay. Christmas at the nursing home? Christmas party went well?
Christmas party went well, there's a resident party that went well. We have a number of other, this year we've actually done a staff initiative of 12 days of Christmas. So each day, wrapping up Christmas, there's something different going on by way of events
Mhm.
that are staff sponsored. And it's largely for morale, but it's also been very well received by the residents as well. So we've done a number of different little things.
Mhm.
Of course, Rob is still all set for a major production on Christmas Day. What is remarkable here, is evident Thanksgiving, and I'm sure it'll be the same on Thanksgiving, is that there's no lack of staffing on holidays. In some places turn into ghost towns. Not here. Staff come back, they bring their family, they bring their friends. There's more time and attention to the meal on holidays than at any other time. It's really, it was wonderful to see on Thanksgiving. I mean, there was a surplus of staff volunteering and present on the holiday, and there's more that have signed up for Christmas.
Mhm.
So it's wonderful to see.
Good. Any questions?
Having not to do with holidays or anything else, do the residents have a dentist that they can see?
They do. In fact, we actually pay a dentist. And I forget his name, although I've met with him. He's on retainer, so he's here, I think, 8 hours a month, and so right in-house. Also, related to contract services, we're expanding our beauty shop services, and so adding the contract, but adding different contract hairdressers. So that's starting. One of the bigger Christmas things that I forgot to talk about, or holiday things I forgot to talk about, is that we started this year a Secret Santa. There's in the past had been kind of hit or miss how presents were bought for residents, and it got to be at one point everybody getting the same thing, and that didn't really quite work. Now we have individual staff members signed up to do individual shopping for residents, and it's working out wonderful. The out-of-budget came $10, and then from the Friends of Mountain View came another $5, so that staff members have been given $15 to do individualized shopping. And it's wonderful to see. They enjoy doing it, they know what a given resident really wants or doesn't want. So it'll be much more personalized. And it also gets the staff involved, which is always a good thing. Staff morale is actually very good by any measure that we can apply to it. And I think it's largely because of a lot of little things. It's not any major thing. We haven't really changed things, but we've added certain ways for staff to be involved, and that's been very well received.
Have any questions?
No, thank you. Oh, the only one, you said you added the dresser. Is it part-time what you added?
Excuse me.
No,
Is it the part-time what you added?
It
the
is
contractors?
part-time. They're not staff members of the county. The way that we work it out is that essentially, in a typical arrangement, you rent people booth time. We charge exactly nothing for the booth time, so they essentially renting the beauty shop from us for zero, but we control what they charge, and we also insist that there not be tipping. So it's still attractive for the hairdresser, the operator, because even though she's not getting tips, also not paying for the space, and so it works out to be attractive. What we want to do is to provide greater amount of times availability for residents, and also not everybody likes a particular hairdresser, so people can have choice, and it's a good thing. So right now we have 2, and I would like to get 3, so we have a backup. So if one is out or on vacation, that we don't have to go without.
But you only have one at a time, right?
Well, interestingly, now that's what I would have thought.
I looked at the room and I didn't see 2 chairs.
Well, you and I were looking alike, and I was thinking the same. And I looked at that and I thought, well, it has to be. Now, it would be really nice to have another chair and another sink. But the two that we have decided that on some days, they want to work together. Now, exactly how that's going to work, the nice part is we don't have to worry about it because we're not paying them. So if they find it to be somehow attractive for one to be doing, I'm not sure what they can do. I'm not sure what they can do at the same time. But there are some days in order to get ready for the holidays, working up to Christmas, that we'll actually have two operators at the same time there.
What if they could work in the resident room?
Well, now we do have some private people that come in and do work in working directly for a resident in their own room. Although it's somewhat of a treat. Going to the beauty shop is as much of a social experience as it is doing a necessary thing. I consider it a social service treatment. It really is. It's wonderful. So to the degree that we can, we'd rather get people out. And of course, when it comes to the washing and setting, it's much easier in the shop.
Just everybody wants to have their hair done for the holidays.
No, they do. They do.
So you say we're short, we're down 2 people?
No, we have 2, and looking for another part-time.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about residents.
Oh, residents, we are
Yeah.
down. We are down 2, and I know Jen has 1. Now, things changed with Medicare that affects, actually in the state, through that, which has changed all admissions. And it's Medicare and Medicaid. It means that all nursing home admissions now have to go through another level of review, which is going to slow admissions.
From where? In Concord?
From Concord. It's the state interpreting federal requirements, and what it means is that it's going to mostly affect us with admissions coming from the hospital. Now, most of our admissions aren't going to be from the hospital, so it won't be tremendous, but it's going to slow down the process. The hospitals now have to do more work. We need to do more pre-admission work in order to get somebody in. It's not unreasonable, but it means instead of it being a 2-day process, it'll be a 3-day process.
Okay. Anybody else? Any further questions? All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just one other item of business. We have a policy that if a line item is going to go over the budget by $1,000, we need to transfer some funds. We're estimating that the expense for travel for the commissioners will be going over, close to going over $1,000, so that money would be taken out of, or transferred out of education and conferences, whatever that amount happens to be. I would assume that it's, we'd probably transfer roughly $1,200, but I'm not sure until all our expense accounts are in for the month of December. So just alerting other commissioners that we do need to transfer money from education and conferences into travel.
But if you're not sure if what is in the education travel, how are you going to transfer?
Well, I know what's in education and conferences. And we don't have any more to go to. There's $982 left over there. And we're down $841 in travel.
Yeah, but we're down in 2 months now. Is it November and December?
This is
The travel from what months do we need to cover?
for the month of December.
What about November? November and December we need to cover?
I don't know. I don't know. All I'm saying is that we're going to have to transfer some money. That's the only line item that I'm aware of that we may be going over by $1,000.
I think we need to cover November and December.
Yeah.
And December, 2 meetings we're not going to have.
Yep.
That is what you're going to see. So there's not much to cover in December.
That's right.
So it is only November. Why would we transfer anything? I don't think we should transfer anything.
We won't if we don't have to. All I'm saying
Because
is,
it's only November, December, and January,
Yep.
there will be,
a policy states that if we um, estimate or think we're gonna go over, then we need to transfer some money. Right now, we're not. We don't need to. Okay, anybody else got anything to bring up to the regular meeting?
What are we waiting for? For the non-public?
It's non-public, yeah, we have,
is it comment now, or can the commissioners say something? Can I make a
commissioners can
comment?
say anything.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it was public input. Couple of weeks ago, I saw there's a check signed for $18,000 for IT, the Cybertron.
Mhm.
And I saw 4 servers, 4 new servers, components, and a couple things more. So where are the new servers going?
Nursing home.
So the nursing home is getting 4 new
I
servers?
think that's where they're
There's
going,
at
is
least
a
one
nursing home.
At least one night before.
I see the bill also there. It's purchased, but I don't see any details on the bill. No serial number, actually no nothing that you can go by and check it out. And how is he doing that? Is he just looking around what he needs and he just come and purchase whatever he wants?
No.
I mean, I don't see anything, and so he has the authority to purchase whatever he wants, and the check is just signed. I don't see anything ever what he is submitted to the commissioners.
He doesn't submit it.
What there is, what we need, he just buying non-stop parts and stuff. And you know, the placement parts are free if you look at the contract. And also in the contract said 25 hours a week at least is going to be here. Who's checking on that?
Janice,
one.
can you fill us in a little bit on the IT?
As far as,
Commissioner Kenny is saying that we just paid $18,000 for some servers.
okay,
Do you know where they're going?
my understanding is here, and he had to, last week our email was down for 4 days because our other servers that were due to be replaced had a complete meltdown on Tuesday night. So in order to install the new ones and transfer all the data, he was here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You know, since I'm here, every time I see him around and there is a meltdown somewhere that we need things.
This was huge.
I mean, a
Nothing
while
worked.
ago, he said, this is not good, this is not good, we
Right.
needed that. Can you sign this here? He has to pay for $3,000 something.
I don't know
I
about
don't
the
know,
financials of
but
it.
we have never an independent auditor of somebody come in and said, this is how the situation is and this is what you need. He's the one that did it himself. So he looked around and he said, this is what we need, and he's purchasing that, and nobody's checking that. We don't even know when he's here, when he's coming and going. Plus he has a car that he slides in, that he's here certain hours. There's nothing. So he just come and go, and he just purchase whatever he wants, and we just paying it.
He's on a contract.
I know
And
he's
he
generally here Mondays and Wednesdays, and I have, and I think everyone else does too, his cell phone and email, that if we're having an issue, he's usually
Yeah, but
here
he's
the
doing
same
a lot
day.
remote too. He's doing a lot remote.
The sheriff called me and said that the email was down.
Oh, yeah. Everywhere.
And he was in here,
It was not,
somebody told me till 2 o'clock in the morning or something, working on them.
it was not just the email. The email affected other things that are stored out on that drive, the H drive, so
Mhm.
anything to do with the internet or intranet was affected
Yeah.
by that.
So once again, the 4 new servers, one is going to be here, and one is in the nurse. Oh,
I
you
can't-
don't know?
I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I know
Can I get
definitely
that
at least one is
information?
here.
Can we get that information? What
One was
4
here.
new servers are
I'm fairly
coming?
sure one was in nursing home.
One was going in the nursing home in next year's budget.
Yeah, I think that was,
He's got a schedule as to when they're supposed to
Can
be
I
replaced.
have that schedule then, so I can see
Sure.
what he's purchasing and doing?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there an IT committee going to be meeting anytime soon?
We don't have one scheduled yet for January, but I will do that.
Probably ought to be done early in January, because I know the delegation wants to talk with the IT committee.
Okay.
Or wants to look at what the IT committee is doing.
I can do that. As long as I'm here, would you like an update on Kronos?
Sure.
Okay. I've been talking regularly with our representative there, and I've gotten the bills from Kathy Gary, also the information from him, which I still have some questions on, but we are, believe it or not, making progress. The data that's in there is now correct. Everyone who's current is in, everyone who's gone is gone. The next step is to now go through and make sure that each person has a tentative schedule attached to them and that they're in the right grouping. When I say schedule, it's not the scheduling piece of Kronos. That is still to come for the nursing home, and that will take some training. But I'm working with him on why it's going to cost additional, where those training dollars were spent, by whom, just to make sure that we're not paying for something that we shouldn't be. But we are making progress. We're getting there.
Good.
I'm working a lot with, oh gosh, now her name just escaped me from the nursing home.
Becky?
Paula Coates.
Paul.
And Lisa Howard, and they are both helping with taking out new folks and making sure that someone who's a per diem is listed as a per diem instead of full-time. So all of those changes, we're getting there slowly. It's a slow process, but we're getting there. And then it's going to be a matter of maintaining. Unfortunately, we did not purchase something that I just made an assumption we had because every other Kronos system I've used does this. We purchased a one-time transfer from the payroll system to Kronos. Then it's up to staff to maintain it on a regular basis. Every week, every time something changes, we have to put it in the payroll side and the Kronos side. What I was used to is every night at midnight, what you have put in the payroll side, it updates and transfers over to Kronos.
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware that we did not purchase that. I guess that's far more expensive to have that aspect of it. But be that as it may, we will, once we've got the data squared away, we will maintain both sides on a regular basis. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You got anything else for?
I do.
General public?
We have, for the personnel reference guide that's been in the works, I guess, for 5 years now, I am pleased to announce, after 2 rounds with all department managers, you folks have looked at it, it's been run past Primex, Liz Bailey in parts. We're ready to go. So I just need, I've got a copy there for each of you of the final version and signatures.
So did you still make any corrections
Yep.
again, the
Yep.
last one? So
Yep.
we need to read it again now?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
If you'd like to.
I like
none
to go
none
over
of them
it
were
again.
substantive changes. There was no major things that were taken out. A lot of them were like little typos or missing a word. But there are no substantive changes.
I like to go over it again.
Okay, then I'll keep the signature page and you'll sign it.
Oh,
next
here,
week.
can you keep this?
We've got a signature page is the first one.
You do, but this will be
Yeah,
the
but
original.
She has.
Which we'll make all the copies from. And then Jason Johnson said he was running a little late, but he should be here by 9:30. Jason Johnson, Superintendent Johnson.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what the non-public is for, is general
Okay.
personnel.
Oh, it's personal?
Yes.
Okay, I guess we'll go into,
Before you do that,
yeah.
I'd just like to make a statement.
Go ahead.
Inasmuch as this will be my last meeting here, as there will not be a meeting next week, day after Christmas, I'd like to take this opportunity to say goodbye to the board, commissioners, and to those who come to the meetings or watch on their computers. It's been my privilege to have served the people of Carroll County for the last 4 years. As many of you must know, I am exceedingly proud of the part that I played in the building of Mountain View community. Though I certainly would have liked to continue my work here on the board, I will instead have to work on the projects I am passionate about from the sidelines. Starting in January, David Babson will hold this seat. I wish him well, and though we don't agree on all issues, I hope he will consider working toward some of the proposals I have made and those I may continue to put forward. It's important that the board work together to accomplish important work for the people of the county. We did that in the first 2 years of my tenure. Let's hope that that Commissioner Batson will have the same good fortune in his first 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dottie.
As I said at the delegation meeting, we appreciate all the work that you've done over the last 4 years. And a lot of the work done behind the scenes, which is always good to have. And you were a major player in the new nursing home. I think we worked as a team at that time, but
We did indeed.
we did pull it off. So appreciate your service, and I'm sure Carroll County residents also appreciate the service that you provided. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to thank Commissioner Solomon for his service to the county. I didn't know it was going to be your last meeting. I was going to bring this up next week. There was a while ago, right to know request from Mr. Brown about minutes were not sealed. He wanted to have a 2009 non-public minutes and a 2010 non-public minutes. And Commissioner Sorensen was going to look in it, that a 2010 was never sealed. There is some on a lot release, but they were redacted. I don't know if it was never sealed. If you have to release it, you have 72 hours. I think you have to release it without redactions. I'm not sure. You were going to check into it. Well, I was checking into if they were sealed because you wanted to have 2009 and 10. I saw that the 2009, the whole year, it was never signed, the non-public minutes. No commissioner signed any one of it, and there's also no date that it is approved. So if you can maybe, if the commissioners maybe can sign it and put a date when it is approved. And I also saw procedure was never followed. If you look at the end, there's never a roll call vote taken. Even if you go into non-public, was never taken. Nothing. I just checked the end because I didn't know if we going to release it or not. I did ask for extension, but we never follow up. I believe he requested the right to know, was in May or June. I asked for extension, and I said we were looking in that issue, but we never ever get back to that issue, what we're going to do with it. But we need signatures now for the 2009, so we have complete records. Because if you're leaving now, I thought you're coming 2 more meetings. Then we have only 1 commissioner from the previous board. So we need at least 2 signatures in those non-public minutes. And we need to have also the date that it is approved. So if you can maybe...
Do you have all those?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you maybe look into it then, the date, I think we can look in the public minutes probably when it is approved. But there's no date that it is approved. And I don't even know where they ever approved the 2009 non-public and a 10. Because there is no date on it. Date approved is nothing. It's blank and it's no signature. And in 2010, there is a signature. A couple have a signature. 1 commissioner only.
Okay.
So if you can
you have copies
correct
of
that,
all those, right?
if you can correct that, that would be good.
Could you get those out today?
Yeah.
So that she could look at those?
If you can correct those.
Okay.
Point
Okay.
of order, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
My knowledge of the law is limited, but it's my understanding that if they haven't been sealed after 72 hours, they
Yeah.
become open to the public.
Yeah.
And if they haven't been sealed or signed since 2009, I'm not very good in math, but that's more than 72 hours.
Yeah, you're right.
And they
Yeah.
should, by law,
Well-
become public information.
We'll look and see whether they were or whether they weren't.
Find that.
Yeah.
They were
I
not.
don't, I
I
can't believe that.
already
I'm
checked
sorry.
it
Mhm.
because there was January 5th, 2011, the non-public minutes were released and there was stated that it was never sealed. So when they read it, they've been questioning that. But you were going to look into, I
Okay.
thought that didn't you talk to Primex or something? Because we were come up with something and
Mhm.
we actually never brought it up again.
Don't know.
Point of order.
2009 and
2009
2010.
and 10.
Yeah.
So 2010 we never sealed the whole year. the 2009, there is no date of approve and no signature at all.
I think we need to look at the public minutes, because some of those non-public were sealed in public meetings. So we have to look at the minutes of those.
But if we can just put a date in,
Yeah.
because we need to have a correct record, because there's nothing
Mr.
in
Brown?
That 91A also included 2008. 2008, 2009, 2010.
When did the law go into effect? I don't know. We'll have to look that up too.
I don't have any, and I don't see any non-public minutes of 2008, so I don't know where to look for that.
Yeah.
So,
No non-public minutes?
from 2008, no, I've been asking if there was, but I don't know. Did you guys went in non-public in
I
2008?
don't remember.
I wasn't on the
You
board in
were there.
2008.
I'm sure they did.
You were there, that must be
2008?
non-public.
Yeah.
I mean, since I'm here, they're going non-stop into non-public. And when you listen to Representative Bobson, he said, when he was coming to the meeting, everything was secrets and non-public, so I can't believe there are no non-public minutes
They probably are.
of 2008. I don't know.
Okay.
You request that, but I don't know.
Jason, do you have anything for public?
No, sir.
Okay.
He's going
Um,
non-public.
Then we'll go into public comment. Mr. Babson.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but I've developed a laundry list here this
Go
morning.
ahead.
First of all, has anybody talked to Mr. Rich about Wi-Fi?
You're responsible for that.
I'm not a commissioner.
You requested it. When you come on board,
Then are you giving me
You
the
can take care
authority
of
to
it.
call him up and
you
tell him
can
to
take
put
care
it
of it.
in? Okay. The processor that broke down, did the parts finally arrive from Norway through Canada and then it broke down?
No, it comes from Finland to Canada,
Finland?
but
Did
where
they
that-
arrive and fix the machine and then it broke again?
they were waiting for a filter. I believe it's an oil filter from Canada. And that had come and it was fixed. Now there's something else
Okay.
happened to it.
My point is it's continuing to break down.
Yeah, well, it's 10 years, 10 or 12 years, 10 years old anyway.
My next question, and I'm sorry we don't get an opportunity to ask the directors when they come in here, but I can understand why you don't want to do that. I'd like to know, Howie said they're down 2 more people here, and there's been vacancies for quite, I think, every week for a long time, either 1 or 2. And I know of 2 people that have applied for admission. One was told in May that they were still number 1 from almost a year. And I know another individual that put somebody's name in probably 9 months ago. And as far as I know, neither one of them heard anything now. Are we going to move forward on this admission policy? And who do you talk to over there about admissions? Because I'd like to find out where these 2 people are on the list.
Well, I would talk with Howie to start with, and then go to Jen, the social worker.
Okay. On the transfer of the money, I've been on the delegation for 14 years. I don't ever remember the commissioners overspending their travel budget. I remember times when the budget for the jail's travel and education was a little bit over, but never the commissioners. What's happened this year? Why is it different?
I don't know. I'll have to look at it.
I think it's been overspent almost every year or not, the last couple of years.
I think it's been close to being overspent.
Well, I've never
was-
overspent by $1,000, so you have to come and ask for more money.
Right. Well, it's $841 right now.
Oh, okay, I thought you had a much bigger budget than that.
No.
Okay, thank you. And the last question was about Cronus, but Jan already answered that. Thank you.
Damon?
I'm sorry, I got here late. I was just wondering if there's any timetable for the next discussion on the nursing home to homeless shelter issue.
I don't know. Did you happen to hear from Ayers or
Yes, as a
anybody?
matter of fact, I did. He did call me. Apparently, he had an accident at work, and he said he called me and left a message on my answering machine that Sunday, though I did not get it. But he hurt his hand and he had to go to the doctor, and that was why he wasn't here. But he is continuing as I am continuing.
Do you think that'll be on the agenda sometime soon?
On our agenda
Right, because it
or
sounded
the
like,
delegation's
well, it sounded
agenda?
like the delegation left it to the commission to come up with a plan. And now I know that there's maybe two or three commissioners who don't necessarily have this as a high priority, but I'm just wondering how this is going to proceed, or if you have any thoughts on that.
I don't feel I'm qualified to put together a plan that large.
Frankly, I don't think that it's up to the commission, as I've said before. It's not up to the commission to put up the plan. It's up to the committee, under Mr. Ayers, Commander Ayers, to come up with a plan of operation. He's going to be the operator.
So when he's ready, he'll come to the board and you'll put him on the agenda? Is that?
We could do that,
Okay.
yep. But you know, as I said, and it appeared in the paper, that it's very complicated. This is a public building. Arrangements would have to be made for some kind of a lease. They've got to work out who's going to be going in, what they're going to be charging, how we're going to work out the heat, the electricity, sewer, water, and so forth. And I personally don't want to see any county dollars going into it. So in order to put a package together, they need a lot of help. They need some professional people that have done this in the past. And it's all up to them. The ball is in their court. Mr. Babson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I heard via the grapevine the other day that Health and Human Services has an option to purchase behind Hannaford's and put in their office for Health and Human Services. I don't know whether it's true, but that's what I hear. And what I'd like you to suggest, instead of calling one of the people that work in the office, that you as chairman call the commissioner who came here a couple of years ago and ask them if they have any interest at all in moving into our old nursing home if it's renovated. And start at the top rather than the bottom, working up, and find out. And
Well,
I think the problem was the delegation said that they could not obligate, Health and Human Services couldn't obligate funding for a number of years. That was the hang-up with Health and Human Services.
I've been on the delegation during this 2 years, and I don't remember that.
when I went to,
I remember, excuse me, Commissioner, I remember you saying you talked to somebody in
Yes.
their office up here, and I remember responding that, you know, that's not the place to start. I would think, Mr. Chairman, that you at least call up and try to find out what the facts are. First of all, there's some rumor that, or there might be some talk that this whole thing had been going on the whole time, and that they're going to build over here. I think this would be a perfect location for them.
You did, go ahead.
the answer that I got when I inquired about this, after the meeting that was held at the Gibson Center regarding this problem, was that they put out an RFP. We, as commissioners, were not in a position to offer the building because the delegation had not come up, was in flux and couldn't decide what to do with the building.
Right.
So since we couldn't put in an RFP for it, we were out of the picture. That's the story that I got.
I recall Harry Merrow, Representative Merrow, saying that if they couldn't commit more than a couple of years, then they would not be interested.
Well, I guess I come from a different school. I would have called up the commissioner and tried to establish a dialogue and find out exactly what they're looking for and let him know what we're looking for. And maybe, a long shot deal, maybe we could have come up with a compromise.
Okay.
But it's a shame that they're gonna build a brand-new building, if that's true, down right around the corner.
They're moving out of Conway
Yes.
to move down here,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say, that's what they told us that night. They were looking for a place down here, and now they're talking about having, somebody's talking about having, they'll get an option on that old driving
Yep.
lot.
I didn't realize, you said Hannaford's, I spaced out to the Hannafords in North Conway.
They had what?
I spaced out, I thought you were talking about the Hannafords in North Conway.
No, the Hannaford's right down here in the
Yeah.
old driving.
Okay, anybody else further comments? Mr. Brown?
In response to Mr. Babson's question about the admittance policy, I asked Mr. Chandler this morning when he was there.
Yeah.
He said the policy committee is meeting weekly, and he hopes to have it finalized by the end of January.
Okay.
And then, about the numbers out, in the nursing home, I was just wondering what number Mr. Babson has.
Not yet, Stephen.
Anybody else further comment? Maureen, you haven't been here for a while, but we do have a committee for the recreation trails. And the Boy Scouts want to meet sometime in the middle of January. So hopefully by the second week of January, we'll have a meeting and put something together for recreation on the county complex.
Thank you, because I do get questions.
And you're on the committee, right?
No.
Somebody said that you, Mr. Babson, did you say she was going to be on it? No? Okay,
We turned it over to, I have way too many things going on. We turned it
Okay.
over to you guys.
okay,
I think I said that I thought she was, but I didn't know.
okay.
But I did volunteer.
You did what?
I did volunteer.
Yes, you did. Anybody else, any further comments for the public? If not, we're going to go into non-public regarding the jail and its personnel, I guess, right?
So the next meeting will be,
I don't have my date book. Probably be in January.
January, I guess.
Either 2nd or the 9th.
Do you know when you get sworn in?
No?
Okay.
January.
It'll be in January, be on
January,
the webpage.
the calendar disappeared off the webpage, and I looked last night. It used to be on there.
On the homepage?
Yeah, because I looked to see if the meeting was going to be delayed if it was bad weather, but
We need the motion to go into non-public.
I'll make a motion that we go in non-public for personnel. You second it?
Second. Roll call, Commissioner Solomon.
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen.
Yes.
Commissioner Kenny, yes. And
Hey Janice, thanks for tracking down that paperwork.